Very good. Well, thanks everyone for joining. I appreciate you taking the time to listen in this afternoon. My name is Scott Walton. I am the National Sign Account Manager for PLASKOLITE. Today's topic, we're going to talk about light diffusing plastics and the advantages of some, and then we're going to talk about a couple of our different light diffusing products at the end, our continuous cast products. So just an objective here, some of the topics we're going to discuss is we're going to quickly review PLASKOLITE's manufacturing capabilities, some of the industry trends that our sign group sees in the sign market from a plastics perspective. We're going to talk about OPTIX LD, which is our acrylic light diffusing product, ToughAct LD, our light diffusing polycarbonate product. Then we're going to talk about OPTIX L, which is formerly Lucite, a couple of the products that we manufacture for the sign industry there. And then in the end, just briefly touch on our run to size programs for acrylic and polycarbonate and how that can really be a benefit to you, whether it's clear white or even colored plastics. Light diffusing plastics can assist you. And then we'll bring it all a recap at the end. So PLASKOLITE really manufactures four main products for the sign market. Our OPTIX acrylic, which is manufactured in gauges 0.040 up to 1 inch. Our OPTIX L, which was formerly the Lucite Luxe product, is a continuous cast product in gauges ranging from 0.80 to 0.354. ToughAct polycarbonate, which was formerly Sheffield Plastics, formerly Macrolon. Now ToughAct is manufactured in gauges 0.30 up to 1/2 inch. And then Vivac PETG, which is it's kind of a product between acrylic and polycarbonate, which has some impact resistance. The downfall to it is that it's not a weatherable product. So you won't see that product used a lot in outdoor signage, but you will find it used often in the direct-to-print market. Our extrusion lines, excuse me, with the acquisition of Covestro's extrusion lines and also the Lucite continuous cast line has given us a lot of flexibility in our manufacturing facilities. Currently, we have 31 extrusion lines that run acrylic, polycarbonate, and PETG, and then we have one acrylic continuous cast line in Memphis, Tennessee. We also have several national warehouses spread across the country, 2 in Ohio and 1 in Riverside, California. So some of the industry trends that we see on the plastic side is, the first one is LED illumination, and that's the need to just diffuse and transmit a single intense point of light. The shallow channel letters going from the 4 inches down to 2 inches to 3 inches seems to be a fairly common thing. Verizon would be a good example of a shallow channel letter design and spec with a 2-inch distance between the LED light source and the face of the channel letter itself. Small routed letters, block letters are becoming more and more common. They're also cheaper to maintain, and we'll talk about a small a routed letter type product toward the end of our presentation. The vinyl cutouts to maintain consistency and illumination levels versus a back sprayed type product. We see vinyl really has kind of taken over the market, as most of you know. But with the vinyl, there also comes a need to maximize the light output because some of the darker colors really cut your light transmission tremendously. And then the last thing is direct-to-print technology, which we're really involved with some of our direct-to-print types of acrylics. But this we see as a still up-and-coming market with, really we see technology heading to where you can really print and form at some point in the near future. But in the end, all of these point back to the need for a clean and brighter illumination without loss of light transmission. So getting into the products, I want to start out by talking about our OPTIX LD Max 2406 white. This is the brightest white in the industry, with illumination at 68% light transmission at 1/8 inch, versus 7328 has a typical light transmission of somewhere between 28 and 33 to 34%, depending on the manufacturer. So you can see that you're at least doubling the amount of light you can push out of a sign with a 2406. This also eliminates any pinpoints or visible hot spots that you may see with some standard whites. It's great for perforated applications as well, because during the day, unlit, it does have that kind of a grayish tint to it when it's unlit, but at night, it really creates a very bright and vibrant white, or whatever color it is that you have, sign. One of the nice features about this is the same square foot cost for any of the whites, whether it's 7328, 2447, or 2406. So there is no cost difference. But if you're looking for any application where you're using vinyl, perforated vinyl, this is a great product to use for that. 2406 has been spec'd for several bank and phone company programs, such as a Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Verizon, T-Mobile, Metro, or just a few that have spec 2406 as the white. We stock this as a standard acrylic and also as an SG impact modified acrylic. This can also be run to size in any gauge or any sheet size. OPTIX LD would really encompass all of our acrylic colors. All of our colors in acrylic are light diffusing, so we don't distinguish between non-light diffusing and light diffusing. We just have one line of colored acrylics, and they're all light diffusing. This is the diffusion properties give you a lot of flexibility in your design, and even with the 2-inch channel letter profile, this would really help with eliminating any hot spots or shadowing, or any fluctuations that you may have across the face of your channel letter. Next slide is just a color chart that will give you the OPTIX LD, the Tough Act SL, which is our standard polycarbonate line, and Tough Act LD, which is our light diffusing polycarbonate line, which we'll talk about in just a second. But just some of the more common colors, you'll see we stock a lot more colors in acrylic, OPTIX acrylic, than we do any of the other two lines. And you'll also notice the 2 stars will indicate for the OPTIX that we stock it in an SG and a standard acrylic color. Next is our Tough Act LD. This is a UV capped polycarbonate. It's a sign grade polycarbonate. The only difference is we have added light diffusing properties to this product. It eliminates hot spots, gives you uniform diffusion, even in deep draw thermoformed areas. Great for shallow channel letter designs. Part of the UL 879 SAMS manual, Miami date approved. And one of the really nice things about Tough Act LD is it does give you the ability to downgrade, to down gauge. I'm sorry. When you have a polycarbonate that is thick, let's just say it's 3/16, and maybe it doesn't need to be 3/16, but you're using a thicker gauge to get the light diffusion properties. The thicker you go, the more light transmission you lose with PC or really any other plastic. It also would eliminate the need for a a light diffusing film to scatter the light. The resin itself has light diffusing properties to it, so no need for any type of diffusion film as well. OPTIX L spectrum block. This is the block product I mentioned earlier. It's a cell cast acrylic product. It's an LED optimized grade of polycarbonate. This is where you actually embed the LEDs inside of the block letter, or you could attach them to the rear plate. It's an alternative to channel letters. And it's also cheaper to maintain. The nice thing about the Spectrum block product is if you did have an LED set that went out with one of the letters, you could take the letter down and stick a whole new letter up a whole lot cheaper than trying to pull a channel letter off the wall. This is available in 1.118 gauge product only. And this will just give you an example of a block letter that was made by one of our customers. The picture to the left is the front of the letter. You can see the white on the back. This is done a couple of different ways. This one actually has an aluminum plate that has been routed out to match the letter itself. These two black buttons are screws. The screws come out, and you can see where they've routed out on the right-hand side, where they have routed out the back and put a Sloan Prism Nano string of LEDs in here. There are various types of LEDs that can be used. We also see these routed out and put on the plate itself that fits to the back of the letter. A couple of different ways. But what you will notice about these letters too is that they're facing back. So if you face them toward the front of the letter, that's where you may get the potential for hot spotting. The lights are facing back. They reflect off of the back panel, and light is pushed back through the front. OPTIX EL, which stands for Edge Lit, is our continuous cast product. Continuous cast has the benefits of a cell cast product, but the advantage is that you get an even gauge tolerance across the surface of the product, whereas cell cast product tends to have a very high tolerance, gauge tolerance, so you may get an unevenness across the face of the sheet. With the edge lit panels, the lights are attached along the sides of the sheet. You can light a 4x8 sheet with this product, with running LEDs along the 96-inch dimension. The light will scatter or travel approximately 2 foot in both directions. It's available in 150, 236, and 0.315. Edge lit panels are, as you can see on this picture, they're used in a variety of different applications, such as a wall design. Where I see it used a lot is mostly in these flag type designs, and they're manufactured in a couple of different ways. Our edge light technology, as you can see at the top design here, one side is lit and the light bounces around in the sheet and travels out the edge, whereas there are a couple of different types of applications or ways to design these. One is just a diffusion particle type, where the light just kind of scatters itself along the front, and then there's also an etching design where the face of the sheet is actually laser etched, and light escapes through the laser etching. Just another example of our edge lit product, where you can see that even though you can twist it, you can cut it, the light will travel throughout the sheet. It doesn't end wherever your lines are cut, or even if you bend it, the light still travels through the sheet. OPTIX L Black White is a white 2028 white. It's a continuous cast product. It looks black in the day, and then it looks white at night when it's illuminated. It's a smooth gloss finish. It's a light diffusing product as well. And this can be used in an indoor or outdoor application. This is also great for perforated applications, and we stock this in 0.177 gauge in a 54 by 100 sheet. This product is actually manufactured in our Memphis facility. Briefly touching on our Run to Size program. Our Run to Size program is really centered more around our clear product, but we could also do colors with this Run to Size program. And as you can see, you know, in some gauges we can get down to as a minimum of a width as 5 inches. The majority of what we do in Run to Size for colors is either 1/8, 3/16, or 1/4 inch. And there you can see we have capabilities to run a width of 28 inches by a length of 20 inches. I would also encourage you to take a look at Run to Size whenever you have large programs that are repeat sizes, and a stock size doesn't have very good yields for you. This would save you in yield loss and increase your efficiencies tremendously. This next slide, we'll talk about Tough Act Run to Size. Here you can see we can run as little as 1,000 pounds in GP clear, Tough Act SL clear, and then our standard colors in polycarbonate as little as 3,000 pounds. A good point of reference when you think about how much is 1,000 pounds versus 3,000 pounds, think in terms of a skid of material, no matter the gauge, usually weighs around 2,000 pounds, whether that's acrylic or that's polycarbonate. Just to recap, 2406 white has the highest LT in the industry. Great product for vinyl, great product for perforated vinyls applications. All whites are the same square foot price. All Plaskolite acrylic colors are light diffusing. Tough Act LD is our light diffusing polycarbonate, and it is a UV capped weatherable product, meaning you can form it, you can bend it, just like you can any other polycarbonate product. Spectrum Block is a great alternative to channel letters. That comes in a gauge of 1.118. EDGE-Lit is great for trim line, directional type signage, and displays. Airports are really a place where I see EDGE-Lit products being used probably more than any other place. And then use Run to Size to your advantage. If you have a large program or just continuous business that uses the same size, Run to Size is a great alternative, and it can also be a cost saver as well.